Hey guys, welcome back to another episode in the next podcast. I just saw Shazam Fury of the Gods a couple of days ago, and here is my non-spoiler review. Shazam Fury of the Gods is just as good as the first, possibly even better, but I have to come to a decision about that. I might need to go back, watch it again in the cinemas this weekend, and see if I like it more than the first. But anyways, Fury of the Gods is just a bunch of fun. Honestly, Shazam has always been a light-hearted part of the DCU, and Fury of the Gods just continues that heart, and actually takes a lot of aspects from the prequel and makes this film even better, which I thought was great. The jokes are even better for more generic audiences, not just towards the kids, because of the 12A PG-13 rating, which I thought was really great. The CGI has ramped up a little bit with the new Daughters of Atlas, what they bring to the film, their monsters. Everything is just as good as the first. However, the first film did have its issues, which means this film is going to have some problems too. Start with the Daughters of Atlas. They were a decent upgrade to Mark Strong's Dr. Savannah, but this film didn't bring anything new in terms of a villain. The Daughters of Atlas had pretty similar motives to Dr. Savannah, with a hint of added depth, which is nice to see, but apart from that, it felt kind of repetitive. And in terms of repetitiveness, I found this with the action sequences as well, where I felt everyone was just being tossed around here and there, and there was no actual sequence or close combat fighting in this film. However, there was one Daughter of Atlas I love specifically, and that was Rachel Zegler's Anthea. Her dynamic with Jack Dylan Grazer's Freddy was just incredible to see on screen, and you could really see the chemistry between the two actors. It was one of my favourite dynamics in the entirety of the DCU, so it's nice to see. However, I did wish they were part of more action scenes. I wish they were involved in the fight, because their story was sort of sided off from the main storyline, and they went off to focus on their own development as characters, which was a little bit disappointing, but didn't really bother me too much. I want to credit Digimon Honzu as the wizard this film, because his role is bigger, but not only that, he provides the jokes, he provides the laughs, and honestly I haven't laughed more in a DCU film than Shazam Fury of the Gods, and it was pretty much all because of him, but I'm not going to say anything else because I'm going to spoil it for you. So they're still talking about what disappointed. Another thing that did disappoint was the amount of silliness in the film, and there were times when I was watching, I was thinking to myself, this is a little too much, right? Like, how is this silly little thing driving the plot forward? And I think that kind of irritated me as I was watching. There were some moments where this silliness also whooshed away the higher stakes that were built up from the trailers, built up from our expectations as we went in to the film. However, within this silliness, there were some moments where even the characters were acting silly. For example, I'll take the foster parents, Rosa and Victor, I think his name is. They don't act like normal parents, I'll be honest with you. They're great as characters, but again, I'm not going to spoil anything, but when there's a time in the film where they should be acting like parents, they don't really act like proper parents, which is, again, I know I'm nitpicking here, but this is just an example of some of the silliness. I'm not going to go to the extent of how silly this was. I thought it was pretty silly, but I'm not going to go to a great extent because I want you guys to see the film, and this is a non-spoiler review, so I'm going to keep it non-spoiler. But yeah, good thing about these foster parents though was the dynamic with Billy Batson, which really added to the core of family and really added to some emotion that was crafted in this film. And emotion is another thing I want to talk about. This film had some pretty heavy scenes, pretty intense scenes, and it was great to see that there were moments, just moments, where we could take this film seriously. Amidst all the silliness and craziness, there were times where I actually felt pretty teary. I felt pretty emotional after watching this film, especially since it really falls back on family and the concepts of loving one another. And yeah, I mean, it just makes the film better. Speaking about family, the Shazamli's presence is very strong in Fury of the Gods, and they were a blast to see on screen. We got some minor character development to all the foster kids, which I thought was great, and they were utilised very well by the writers, which I have to give credit for. To conclude, I'm going to score the film and some of its elements out of 10. In terms of plot, I'm going to say a 6.5 out of 10 because of the silliness that drove the plot forward. I mean, it wasn't too bad, but it could have been better. In terms of characters, I'm going to say a solid 8 out of 10. I really love some of the character arcs and development that the sequel brought, which doesn't really happen nowadays in superhero sequel films, so I was really impressed by that, and how the writers made everyone go on some sort of change. Not just the protagonist, but pretty much most characters changed by the course of the film, by the end of the film, and over the course of the film, there is some development to these characters, which I found really, really strong and present throughout Fury of the Gods. There were some beautiful shots in this film, especially with the Greek gods being involved, and the CGI is better than the last film, so for CGI and cinematography, I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. Finally, for acting. Rachel Zegler and Jack Dylan Grazer shine for me, with Asher Angel and Digimon Honzu playing their roles flawlessly too. The rest of the cast are pretty decent, and for that I'll give the acting a 7.5 out of 10. For this brings the average score for the film to 7.5 out of 10. Ultimately, Fury of the Gods shines and is a great sequel, possibly one of the best sequels in the DCU entirely. I love that it manages to balance out humour and action, all whilst advancing the story and adding to that core of family, which is really where this movie outshines any other DC film. It's well crafted characters and the bonds between them. Thank you guys so much for watching it. Again, if you guys enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow the channel, and I'm definitely going to be dropping some more podcast interviews and some more reviews very soon. Also, if you haven't already, please check out our Instagram. I post reviews almost every other day on there, so please show some love, like, comment, do whatever you have to do. Just any engagement helps, honestly. But yeah, thank you guys for watching and stay tuned. Peace.